Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am kicking off some Christmas and July projects with some brand new products from Waffle Flower Crafts. I absolutely love Christmas cards. If you've been around here long, you know that. And today I will be using a few of the brand new products that are available today from Waffle Flower Crafts, including this poinsettia frame die set along with the coordinating stencils. So you'll notice that this die set has a swag piece along with some individual dies, and there's a coordinating stencil. I also have the poinsettia frames sentiment set along with the coordinating die set, and I absolutely love these. They can be used with the frame or on their own. And finally, the piercing lines texture plate. These are the products that I'm using on today's card project, but there are several more available from Waffle Flower Crafts, and I'll be sure to link that below. I'm starting out by die cutting the poinsettia frame swag die from some white cardstock. I'm using some Concord and 9th white cardstock because I love to blend on that cardstock. And I'm just gonna knock it out of the die by smacking it against my surface. I did cut and stencil 2 of these swag pieces, but I only used 1 on my card. Now I am grabbing the new black grip mat from Waffle Flower Crafts. I'm removing the topper, and you'll notice that this is a grip mat. It is on a black backer, and that just kind of keeps a more clean look as you're stenciling onto your area. So it works just like the others. It's a photopolymer surface. It's going to hold your stencil and your paper in place as you're doing your stenciling. And speaking of stenciling, this poinsettia frame stencil set is all on one stencil. So you're going to start by lining up the first portion of the stencil, and this is for all of the greenery. So I'm starting out with a large blending brush and some juniper ink, and I'm going to go over this entire area. Now you can add some shading with the same color ink, but I'm going to go ahead and wipe down the stencil and bring in a darker green ink and a smaller blending brush, and I'm going to blend some Rainforest ink and create some darker areas on this blending. Now you could absolutely start with a colored piece of cardstock for the greenery, and you could layer on the individual die cut flowers instead, and that would be a really beautiful look as well. But I decided to do all of this with blending and the stencil today. Now for the reds, I'm using a variety of reds. I'm using Brickyard, Cranberry, and also some watermelon. So for this berry area, I'm starting out with Brickyard and then blending over with some shading using Cranberry. I'll move my stencil up, and this portion colors in the poinsettias. So I'm starting out with watermelon on all of the poinsettias, and then I am going to add some Brickyard over this medium-sized one, kind of over the entire area. I'll also add some Brickyard to the large and small poinsettia, but I'm doing this more towards the middle. So my medium-sized poinsettia is going to be the darkest, so I added the most Brickyard to that. And now I'm adding some shading with the Cranberry, and these 3 colors look really beautiful together, and they're going to be one of my go-tos for the holiday season. Finally, I'm moving my stencil to stencil in the little baubles that are at the corner of this swag, and I'm using Stardust ink for that. I'll reposition a final time and fill in the center of those baubles with some Rainforest ink. Once I have all of my blending done, I can wipe down my stencil a final time and remove it from the grip mat, and you can see I have this really beautiful one-piece die. I will cut out some centers for the poinsettias in just a bit. I didn't do the ink blending for those because it was hard to blend like a yellow color over the red areas, but there are individual dies in the die set for that, and we'll remedy that in just a bit. I have an A2 size panel of Rainforest cardstock, and I'm die cutting that with the piercing lines texture plate. I absolutely love this. This can be used year round, but it has a really cool, almost like formal wallpaper effect when it's paired with this poinsettia frame. And I did die cut another one of these poinsettia frames from some diamond glitter cardstock. I decided to use just one of the frame pieces on my card and create a horizontal card, and I'm going to offset this glitter piece behind it. Now, initially, I stamped this Merry Christmas greeting in Versamark ink onto some vellum and heat embossed it with some sterling silver embossing powder from Brutus Monroe. I decided that this silver with the diamond glitter just wasn't quite working, so I'm going to go back and readjust this here in just a bit, but I did want to show you how beautiful it looks embossed on this vellum. And then I use the coordinating die to die cut that out. Of course, I'm going to change that up here in just a bit, but I did want to leave it in the video because I do change my mind quite often as I'm creating. I did some additional die cutting. I die cut some extra berries and the centers of the poinsettias, and I'm just using some liquid glue to adhere those to the center of the poinsettia. I'm using a pickup tool to kind of help me position those, and these are die cut from some Stardust cardstock. So I'm bringing in the color that I used on those baubles in that lower corner as well. Once I have the floral centers in place, I'm going to flip this entire frame piece over and add some liquid glue to the back. I am adhering this to some glitter cardstock, so I want to make sure that I have a sufficient amount of glue to hold this cardstock to the glitter, but I don't want so much that it's going to squeeze out. And when I place this onto the glitter layer, I did offset it just a bit so that it's peeking out from behind my blended poinsettia frame. I'm going to let that liquid glue kind of take hold, and while that glue is kind of setting up, I die cut some of these baubles from Stardust and Rainforest cardstock. I'm going to use these on my finished card project. I'm going to pop them up on that frame towards the lower corner. I'm also going to use a couple to surround my sentiment. I die cut some of the berries from Cranberry cardstock, and I decided to kind of sprinkle them throughout my frame just to add a little something. You could definitely replace these with some gems or some glitter dots. I think that would be really fun, but I'm just using the cardstock version. Then I took my entire frame, adhered it onto my card front panel using some foam adhesive, and this is where I kind of felt like I didn't really know if this heat embossed greeting was working. It probably would have worked had I not been trying to bring in some more of that diamond glitter through the greenery, but I just decided to go ahead and stamp it instead on some juniper cardstock using Rainforest ink. So it's kind of a tone on tone. I die cut it using the coordinating die, and then I offset it with a piece of diamond glitter cardstock, and that just felt like it flowed a little bit better with everything else I had going on at that point. I will adhere this to the front of the card using some foam adhesive, and then you can see I added a couple of those greenery sprigs that I die cut from some diamond glitter cardstock using some liquid glue directly to the front of the card, and then I'm adding a few more of these die cut berries. Once I have all the berries in place, I'm going to add a little bit of shine to those with good old trusty glossy accents, an oldie but a goodie. I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit onto each berry. It would also be fun to use some old school Christmas red Stickles glitter glue on these, but I just decided to stick with the glossy accents today. Mine was a little bit thick, so it was coming out a little slow. I think I need a new bottle of this. I took that entire panel and adhered it to an A2 size card base, and that finishes off my first Christmas card for 2025. I absolutely love creating Christmas cards, and I can't wait to share some more holiday inspiration with you throughout the month of July for Christmas in July. I'll also be sharing another project featuring the Waffle Flower July 2025 release, so be sure you stay tuned here for more inspiration featuring this release. Now, as always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. Or you can head on over to my blog post at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I'll have that linked below as well. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. I'd love for you to leave me a comment below. Let me know, did I make the right decision on the sentiment? You won't hurt my feelings if you liked the silver heat embossed one better. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this project and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you won't miss any of my card making, paper crafting video tutorials, as well as my Carissa Crafts live stream broadcasts. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.